Be sure to subscribe for your chance to win a custom leather playmat when we hit 2,500 subscribers. Welcome to Fast Effect. We've got a new layout that we're playing around with here. And we've got Jake on Death and Taxes. Don't worry, in the future videos I figured out how to flip this to go the correct direction. But we've got an Aether Vial for Jake. And Dom is actually going to be on Burn here, leading out with a Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide. Really the ideal start for Burn. I mean, it's going to put significant pressure. There's not as much of an upside as Monastery Swiftspear, but the floor, of course, is twice as much as you're hitting for 2 for only that 1 red mana investment, making it one of the most efficient creatures ever printed. As Jake's life total is under assault, and we've got Aether Vial putting in Mother of Runes, which does demand the respect of a Lightning Bolt, end of turn, taking out the mom. Just too dangerous to be left alive, as she would represent the ability to continually block any of these creatures. And a Monastery Swiftspear. Rashad and Port going after Dominic's mana base. Now, Wasteland not going to be amazing versus Dominic's mana base, but it is relevant in potentially blanking his price of progress. So Jake, as this game unfolds, may need to hold back his Wastelands to blow up his own lands, as otherwise he may find himself in range of a very lethal price of progress. Right now it's going to represent 6 damage, which could, actually be lethal combined with attacking with both creatures. Now we've got Sword of Fire and Ice alongside Flicker Wisp. Well, there it is. There's a price of progress. And Fire Blast. Wow, going down to 3, which is not where you want to be with Burn. Oh, and he's got the final points of damage as well. So Sword of Fire and Ice, very threatening. But as it turns out, Burn just too fast. Dominic with that crucial price of progress. And I think that's actually the main question to ask yourself when you're sleeving up Burn is price of progress good? And if it is, then I think you're going to have a good time. I think that's really the main challenge with the deck, is figuring out. Luckily, we've got a way to pivot now, which is really cool. We do have access to the new prowess lists, which I think are by and large about on the same power level, but they don't have price of progress, so you're not going to be in a situation where you're playing against, say, Snoko if you don't think it's good in that matchup. Instead, you just have a wider range of creatures that can just aggressively attack in the early game, just using prowess to the best of its ability. Things like Lava Dart, just pumping up. I'd kind of like to see a Phoenix hybrid. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Like Lava Dart with like Arclight Phoenix. Phoenix does kind of pull you in the Buried Alive direction. But Faithless Looting is in that deck as well. You just don't really have anything that you're like super excited about discarding. Mostly fuels the graveyard for Bedlam Reveler. But a couple of distinct versions of Burn are definitely playable in Legacy. And of course, Death and Taxes has been playable for many years. Not obvious to people when they look at it that it's any good at all. And, I've witnessed it lose to just like random piles of jank, like where, you're playing against like a beginner and they just have like a bunch of fat creatures. If you don't have a draw with like Swords to Plowshares and stuff, then you can absolutely get wrecked by like a 6/6, like a Crawworm. Well, Crawworm's got 4 toughness, so Batterskull will definitely beat that. But, I've seen some very hilarious losses with Death and Taxes over the years. They're few and far between, but they can highlight kind of how different it is compared to so many other Legacy decks. It really doesn't do anything too broken. It's pretty fair magic. We've got a Stoneforge Mystic here. It's efficient. One of the main strengths that this has in this particular matchup as well is Death and Taxes doesn't do any damage to itself. That is a honest 20 points of damage that Burn is going to have to find a way to deal. There's no fetch lands, no thought seizes, no force of wills, losing a point here and there, or potentially you don't need to quite do that full 20 damage. That is not the case. Death and Taxes is going to make you do the full 20. And Goblin Guide sending in again, and now Searing Blood, taking out that Stoneforge Mystic while continuing to do damage. Dom is in excellent shape here. Mother of Runes coming down. And now 3 mana for a walking, breathing Chalice of the Void here. Sanctum Prelate's going to shut off all of the 1-mana spells. We'll see how Dom has this built. Now, he may have access to Rift Bolt, Skewer the Critics. He's going to suspend the Rift Bolt and jam an Eidolon. So, if he has a Bolt, this might be okay. He may be able to actually... Oh, no, he can't with a Bolt. Never mind. Yeah, this Mother of Runes is just making a mess of this. The end of turn Mother into the Sanctum Prelate. Really, really difficult to figure out a way past that, as Mother of Runes is going to be able to give protection for an entire turn. Yeah, this is a mess. Eidolon doing 2 damage to Dom as he casts his Rift Bolt, targeting Jake. And at this point, Mother of Runes looking to keep the Sanctum Prelate alive. End of turn, Recruiter of the Guard. And Aether Vial going to be able to work around very effectively this Eidolon of the Great Revels. Jake doesn't need to cast another spell for the rest of the game, and he can still continually improve his board position and make some pretty powerful plays. Flicker Wisp off of Aether Vial is a very powerful effect, countering removal, re-triggering Enter the Battlefield ability, potentially assembling a whole squad. And it looks like Sanctum Prelate actually venturing into the red zone. We've got a Price of Progress. A Flicker Wisp enters in response. We're going to get rid of one of these lands for now. And Jake porting in response. That I'm not actually clear on the relevance of. Might have been during... Yeah, I can't think of any reason to do that during combat. And that other land should be coming back now, I believe. We have an Exquisite Firecraft doing 4 damage. Now, this GT doesn't seem to have any counters on it yet. Shipping it over. Oh, and he's got the Fire Blast sandbagged. Oh, I just couldn't see the counters on it. There we go. I thought it connected. That blue D4 hiding out there on the GT. So Jake keeping himself alive, and this GT likely just going to run away with the game from here. Realistically, this life gain just going to be too much. Everything turns sideways. Another Aether Vial activation, this time putting in what appears to be a Mirren Crusader. And Eidolon surviving. And perhaps trying to... That might have all been about trying to get in with Skewer the Critics. But either way, game's going to Jake. We are on to game number 3. And I'm going to see about getting an overlay for this as well. Let me know if you guys like this new format, turning things sideways. It might be about 12% bigger depending on your screen. I think the regular aspect ratio is 16:9. So when you go sideways, that would make each of them 8. And when you go this way, it'd be 9. So in theory, that'd be like 12.5% bigger. Gonna play around with that. Could probably do some zooming in as well. The main challenge for me is figuring out how to do all of this stuff as efficiently as possible. I know I can make really nice videos if I spend a week on it, like a week per video, but that is just not what this channel is about. We are bringing you live content, live tournaments every Wednesday and Friday. We're taking those videos, doing them double speed with commentary, so you have something to watch every single day. And, still keeping the store running. That's another major thing, making sure things keep on functioning. We've got a lava spike, and speaking of functioning, Dom's deck firing off on all cylinders as a Swift Spear is joined by a second Swift Spear, making great use of that lava spike for a ton of extra damage. And now, Thalia. We'll see what Dom is able to do here. I mean, you got to turn stuff sideways. He's going to suspend a Rift Bolt. I'll tell you, if you attack there, I don't know if Jake can block. I really don't. Like, if you have a Lightning Bolt or a Fire Blast or just about anything, any instant, if you block with Thalia, you are just dead, as the Prowess trigger would bump the Swift Spear up to a 2/3. Now we've got a Rift Bolt, which is going to the head, and a couple of 2/3 Swift Spears. They can both attack pretty fearlessly. And it looks like Jake gonna block and then actually letting her die. I'm surprised of that. I would have imagined... I mean, it's almost certainly worth it to just bounce it back to your hand with the Karakas post-block. We do have a Batter Skull. And if Dom doesn't have an answer to this Batter Skull, this could be really bad. We've got a Thalia being put in. Now, I've got to assume that Jake is going to have a Recruiter of the Guard or a Flicker Wisp. If not, then what we would have probably rather seen is that Aether Vial being activated during the upkeep before the counter being put on there, just to have more access to mana. That is, well, I mean, it's a play to consider. I'm not saying it's strictly right or wrong to do it either way. There are definitely trade-offs of using your... Oh no, we've got Exquisite Firecraft. Now the Stoneforge Mystic is going to be able to put in Batter Skull, and Dom is actually tapped out. So Thalia being taken down. Oh, sick! Double Fire Blast. Get out of here. He's got an Exquisite Firecraft, 4 mana to do 4 damage to Thalia. Horribly overpriced. He only needs to do 1 damage to her, and he pays the 4. Wow. Wow, that is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Double Fire Blast to finish the game. That's an argument for that mana base, man. That is absolutely brutal. What an exciting finish to that game. that is all for this one. But don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.